Have you ever felt like your confidence is kind of tied to your last big win? Your job title, or maybe just what other people think of you? Well, today, we're going to dive into how to build a kind of confidence that doesn't just crumble when life gets shaky. And we're pulling these insights from DennisMotivates.com. So let's just start with a really big question. Forget about your job for a second. Forget about your accomplishments. I want you to really think about this. Who are you when all of that changes? When the success slows down, when nobody's clapping anymore? Because that's where you find out what your confidence is really made of. To even begin to answer that, we first have to understand a really common problem. The source material calls it the confidence trap, and it's something so many of us fall right into without even knowing it.
I mean, think about it. Our world is basically set up to make us prove ourselves over and over again. We're in this constant loop of trying to show everyone we're valuable, and without us realizing it, our confidence gets dangerously tied to our performance. It's like being on a treadmill you can never get off of.
And that's the major flaw in the whole system, right? A confidence that's built on something as shaky as performance is just, well, it's fragile. When those things you lean on are gone, what's left? And this isn't just some abstract idea. The source shares a really powerful story that makes this crystal clear.
So let's take a look at the story of a man named Nathan. His experience is a perfect illustration of how this kind of confidence can just completely collapse. Nathan was the guy who had it all, at least by the world's standards. Super successful, respected, and his entire identity was wrapped up in his career. But then a sudden setback just pulled the rug right out from under him, and his whole sense of who he was just shattered. And just listen to the word he uses here, invisible. It's so telling. Without his job, without his role, he felt like he had literally stopped existing in any meaningful way. That's how deep the connection was between his identity and his work. Now, his pastor didn't just give him some easy platitudes. Instead, he asked this incredibly profound question, and the silence that followed, it said everything. Nathan couldn't answer because he'd completely forgotten who he was outside of what he did for a living. For Nathan, the big shift started right here with this verse. It completely reframed his identity. It wasn't about a role he had earned anymore. It was about a relationship he had been given. His worth wasn't based on being a professional, but on being a child of God. And this is the huge breakthrough at the end of his journey. He rebuilt his entire sense of confidence on a totally new foundation. And that move, from performance to belonging, that's the absolute key difference between a confidence that shatters and one that's truly unshakable. This brings us right to the main idea, really. It's about understanding that there are two competing places we can get our identity from, and we have to choose the one that's actually going to last. Okay, so on one side, you have the world's message, which is basically screaming, you are what you do. Your value is based on your success. But on the other side, you have this declaration that says, nope, your value is a fact because of who made you and who you belong to. One has to be earned again and again. The other is just a gift.
So, how do we actually build on this new foundation? It sounds good, but how do we do it? Well, the source material lays out 3 really powerful truths that can totally change how we think about confidence.
Okay, this first one is an absolute game changer. Most of us spend our lives trying to earn approval, trying to get to a place where we feel accepted because of what we've done. This truth just flips that whole script. It says your acceptance isn't the finish line you're running towards, it's the starting line. And this is just a perfect illustration of that point. God spoke these words over Jesus before he performed a single miracle, before he preached a single sermon in his public ministry. His value was declared before his performance even began. And the same thing is true for you. Man, we spend so much energy chasing an identity, don't we? Trying to become someone important or successful or respected. This truth is an invitation to just stop chasing and start receiving. Your true identity, as chosen and loved, isn't something you have to strive for. It's something you simply live out of. And this verse just hammers that idea home. It's a declaration of who you already are. Real confidence doesn't grow when you finally get that promotion or award. It grows when you start to really believe in the identity you've already been given. And here's the beautiful result of all this. When you truly know who you are, all that frantic energy we spend comparing and competing, it just melts away. You don't have to perform to get approval because you're already secure. And that's not arrogance. It's a deep, quiet, peaceful confidence.
When your confidence is rooted in Christ, it just gets rid of fear. The fear of failure, the fear of what people think, the fear of not being good enough. When your identity is secure in something that's eternal, all the temporary stuff just loses its power over you.
Okay, so the theory is great. We get it. But let's get practical. How do we actually reinforce this new foundation in our day-to-day lives?
The source suggests 3 simple but really powerful habits. First, you have to intentionally fill your mind with these truths, because what you believe really does determine how you act. Second, you have to constantly, and I mean constantly, remind yourself that what you do flows from who you are, not the other way around. And third, you have to use your own words to make it stick. And these are fantastic examples of that. Instead of just letting your brain run on autopilot with all its worries and doubts, you can intentionally speak truth over yourself. I mean, try it. Just say one of these slowly to yourself, like, I don't strive for approval, I live from acceptance. Can you feel how that changes something in you? Words are incredibly powerful tools for shaping what you believe. So if you take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. When your confidence is anchored in Christ, it becomes unshakable. When the world around you is shifting and shaking, you can stay standing. Not because you're so strong, but because the foundation you're standing on is. Your identity isn't fragile, and your value, well, it's just not up for debate.
Want to start your week with power, peace, and purpose? Join the Affirm Your Greatness community, where faith meets mindset, all for just $9 a month or $50 a year. This is your space to speak life, grow boldly, and walk in God's promises. Affirm your greatness, speak life, live boldly.
Now available on Amazon.com. Unlock the transformative power of positive affirmations with this essential guide by certified personal development coach and motivational speaker, Dennis of DennisMotivates.com. In Affirm Your Greatness, you'll discover the science behind affirmations and learn how to craft personalized affirmations that resonate with your unique journey. Get your copy today. Find the link in the description. Thanks.